You are entering the wind tunnel with Jack Root. No spin, no bull, all Jack.
Seriously. And again, I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt. It's a no-hold-bars visit with yours truly, Jack Root, and now joined by Mario Andretti.
You're talking to me, of course.
I'm talking to you. Yeah, of course I'm talking to you, Roger Penske.
Let's get back to racing. We need fans in the stands. And Jack, I thank you.
Jimmy Johnson in the house.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, what a fun car.
Then TT IndyCar owner, Chip Ganassi.
Thanks, Jack. Great to catch up with you. Great to talk, and hope you're well, and I'll see you on the trail here somewhere.
Wind Tunnel is brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.
Here is your host, Jack Root.
Welcome back inside the wind tunnel. I'm glad that you're here. I've put together an episode this week that I believe you will really enjoy. Kyle Larson joins me this week for what I hope you will find is a revealing look into what actually drives him to win in virtually anything that he sits in. There are few, if any, current drivers at the premier level of American motorsports that can equal this guy's versatility and deep-rooted passions. Speaking of passion, I'm also genuinely excited to have Aero McLaren SP co-owner Sam Schmidt on this week's show. Sam has not allowed a catastrophic racing incident that left him a paraplegic diminish his love for IndyCars. But that crash also ignited within him an equally passionate dedication to seeking a cure for spinal injuries. And in this week's Advance Auto Parts Victory Lap, you'll meet Bobby Gunther-Walsh. Monday through Friday, Bobby is a radio talk show host. But on Saturday nights, he buckles up and chases checkered flags at Pennsylvania's Grandview Speedway. So those are this week's guests. But before you meet them, it is time now to check out this week's racing action with Wind Tunnel's news and notes. Before we talk about the action at NASCAR and IndyCar's premier levels, let's check in on racing results from NASCAR's Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series tracks. For that update, we welcome the host of Performance Racing Network's At the Track show, Lenny Batigny.
Thanks a lot, Jack. This is your NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Racing Report, and a congratulations to Ryan Blaney for taking the win at Michigan and bringing along Advanced Auto Parts home tracks, Berlin Raceway and Elko Speedway to victory lane. Limaland Motorsports Park and Bethel Motor Speedway will be on the 12 this week at Daytona. Speaking of Bethel Motor Speedway in New York, Skip Laycock took that win, John McKennedy victorious at Claremont, and Riverhead Dave Brigatti. Kyle Crump got the win at Michigan's Berlin Raceway, Beach Ridge Motor Speedway in Maine to Ron Silk, John Clam victorious at Alaska Raceway Park, and Adams County Speedway in Iowa to Austin Paul. Jonathan Brown victorious at Bowman Gray Stadium in North Carolina. Whitney Banks and Taylor Satterfield splitting the wins at Hickory. Florence Motor Speedway in South Carolina to Jeremy McDowell. James Giassi got the victory at Wisconsin Cedar Lake. Madison, Brett Edmonds, and Michael Hagar both saw the wins. Cassidy Hines victorious at Colorado National. Elko Speedway in Minnesota, Billy Mon and Chris Merrick split the checkers. Nate Lang back into victory lane at Evergreen in Washington. Coos Bay Speedway continuing his wins. Brody Montgomery, the Oregon Dominator. At Virginia's Dominion Raceway, Ryan Matthews and Chris Donnelly split the wins. The same for Matt Carter and Rick Godovic at Langley, while Peyton Sellers took both victories at South Boston. In Canada at Grand Bend, it was Jacob Ross, Rick Spencer-Walt victorious at Sunset. Doug Mann-Miller victorious at Grandview in Pennsylvania. Jesse Love got the win at Irwindale, California. Kingsport, Tennessee, Nick Williams and Brad Housewright splitting the wins. Jimmy Renfrew Jr. victorious at Lee, USA in New Hampshire, while at Monadnock it was Matthew Kimball. Eddie McKean took the victory at Idaho's Magic Valley. At Meridian, it was Cameron Madsen and Kyle Latham, both victorious. Matthew Green, a winner at Florida's New Smyrna. Rockford, Illinois to John Reynolds Jr. John Potter victorious at Salina Highbanks in Kansas. And at Seekonk Speedway in Massachusetts, it was Vinny Renegado who took the win. That's your NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Racing Report. Thanks a lot, Jack. We'll see you next time.
The Camping World Truck Series of NASCAR kicked off their playoff chase when they took to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway for the running of their Toyota 200.
We're at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and the playoffs are underway.
John Hunter Nemechek just blitzed down into turn one and blew the line way wide. And that opens up the door for Hill. I mean, that is just how much intensity all these guys have brought to the playoffs. It's time, and it's now.
That's a problem. Ankrum, Gilliland involved.
Something's wrong with the Ford truck, too. Man, that took out a lot of quality trucks.
Creed has had the fastest truck all night, and he starts to gap Matt Crafton a little bit. Give himself a bit of a cushion. Sheldon Creed continues to lead down the backstretch. Matt Crafton trying to get to the bumper. Not going to be able to do it. Sheldon Creed is going to survive overtime and win for the second time this season. Back to back at Worldwide Technology for Sheldon Creed.
We've been working really hard all year. Obviously, we haven't had the speed at times, and I've made mistakes at times, but we just built this brand new truck. I feel like we've taken everything we've learned this year and just applied it. The Toyota's been really fast, so they gave us a hot rod today, and I couldn't be happier.
We'll be checking back in on Gateway action in just a moment, but Saturday afternoon, NASCAR's Xfinity Series took to the 2-mile High Bank Michigan Speedway for the running of the New Holland 250.
The crowd here at Michigan on their feet, all eyes on the flag stand. Green flag goes in the air.
Whoa, trouble off turn number 2. A couple of cars get tangled up, spinning Daniel Hendrick hard into the wall. It looks like Austin Cindric has gotten a piece of this. Other cars begin to spin and crash and collide.
Boy, what a race we have here this afternoon at Michigan. How about 3 wide for the lead? Ty Gibbs thinks about it. He'll do it.
Josh Berry to the inside. He wants the lead on the backstretch. Intense battling for the lead. Here's Berry to the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side, still in lap traffic. Berry on the bottom, Allgaier on the outside, and Jeb Burton is all but stalled at the entrance of pit road.
Here we go. Overtime. Restart. Number 3 here at Michigan.
Green flag goes in the air. Noah Gregson will take his shot from the inside lane on race leader A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger gets a huge shove in the caboose courtesy of Brandon Jones. Jay Allmendinger up off of turn 4. Right foot planted on the loud pedal. He'll go to the bottom. Checkered flag in the air. And A.J. Allmendinger wins the New Holland Agriculture 250 at Michigan.
Wow. What a hell of a 6 days. Oh, my goodness. This is what's awesome, though. To have all the fans back. Indy last weekend was spectacular. Michigan, thank you, God. You guys make it fun. Oh, man. I don't want to wake up from this dream.
Once the sun went down, it was time for the NTT IndyCar Series to tackle the 1.25-mile Worldwide Technology Raceway for their running of the Bommarito Auto Group 500.
Let's go!
Green. Clear by 1. No pressure in the 1.
Power. Newgarden on the inside. He's ready to win again this year, and Hunter Ray goes high in that yellow and red machine.
Race on pit road. It's going to be Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, and Colton Herta.
Here comes Pato Award. Trying to go up the inside of Alexander Rossi. Ericsson around the outside. There's a crash.
Hello out. VK out. Dixon in the wall. This is huge.
Look out.
Look at that.
Well done, Romain Grosjean.
First oval race for the Frenchman, and he's working the high side on a short oval. That was brilliant stuff.
That's great. Keep digging. Let's go.
Oh! Inside move by Colton Herta for the lead of the race.
Clear.
Drive shaft.
Take it easy. Be careful.
Drive shaft just went out.
We're done.
Colton's
I
car.
copy that. Just bring it in. Let's go. Pink 8.
Colton just blew the drive shaft. Look, Rossi hit the wall on the outlap. And the 2-time winner here at Worldwide Technology Raceway is now a 3-time winner.
Good work there. Good job, fellas. Great drive there, Joseph. Nice work. Good job in the pits.
Yeah, excellent work, guys. Number 2 right there.
Joseph Newgarden's victory kept his championship hopes alive. By the way, I'll be visiting with the car owner of the new point leader, Pato Award, when Sam Schmidt from Aero McLaren SP checks in later in this episode. Sunday, it was back to the Irish Hills of Michigan for NASCAR Cup's next to last regular season outing, the running of the Firekeepers Casino 400.
Kyle Larson, the pole sitter, elects to start on the outside lane. Green flag goes in the air, and the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan is underway.
Drag race to the entrance at 3. No contest. Elliott to the lead. Hamlin falls back to second, and it's Kurt Busch hustling under Larson for third. It's going to go 3 wide for the lead. Matt DiBenedetto steals the bottom. He'll slide underneath Dillon. Larson away with the lead. DiBenedetto now side by side for second.
35 to go. Denny Hamlin will give up the lead and come to pit road.
And that FedEx Express Toyota, they are in fact going to take 4 tires.
And here comes Byron around the outside. He will bypass Denny Hamlin as Hamlin blends up into the middle of the back straightaway. Now they're going 3 wide. Denny Hamlin up the middle between Busch and Kyle Larson for second.
William Byron, Hamlin, Larson, Blaney, Kurt, and Kyle Busch. This is about to go green. Hang on, everybody.
Kyle Busch absolutely jacking up Ryan Blaney, still shoving him.
Ryan Blaney using Kyle Busch. He's got the lead.
Blaney brings him back to 3. William Byron's got one final shot off the corner.
He'll try to cross over. Ryan Blaney is there. He leads the field. Back to 4. The checkered flag is out. One more run by Byron, and it will come up short. Ryan Blaney will score the win in the Firekeepers Casino 400.
It's so cool to get in victory lane for Ford here. This is such a huge win for Ford and Penske and Menards, Cardell, Body Armor, Dex Image. I can't thank them enough for what they do, Advanced Auto Parts. And that was cool, man. I'm fired up.
If I told you were going to come back and win this thing, what would you have told me?
Oh, you're crazy. And, but man, we just worked on it a lot. You know, Todd, we had our problems early and we took a lot of time to try to fix it. And we got better and better and just, picked a good lane on the restart there and was able to get the push we needed. Really, it was the push. I mean, the 18 pushing me, that was the whole thing. So I appreciate Kyle for pushing me through there and we were able to hold him off. So that's cool, man. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I hope you enjoyed it.
As Lenny said during his short track roundup, Blaney's car carried the names of Berlin Raceway and Elko Speedway. But that was not just a photo op for those 2 tracks. Each will receive a check for $1,500 for being part of Blaney's win at MIS. It's all part of Advanced Auto Parts' commitment to NASCAR short track racing. That's what's happened over the past weekend, and now you are up to speed. Up next.
I'm a husband. I'm a dad. Every day, I think about the moment I will walk my daughter down the aisle. Every day, I think about the moment that I will walk again.
Go back to Sam Schmidt again.
1997, I got to IndyCar, and I was in heaven.
Sam has a huge career ahead of him as he is within a half a lap of his first victory.
Sam was racing. He was on top of his game.
Everything was great.
I remember I was standing in the kitchen and it was his mother who had called me and told me that Sam had been in an accident, and she said it was bad.
I crashed on a testing run and severed my spine between my 3rd and 4th vertebrae. 5 months on a respirator. A life sentence in a wheelchair. At least that's what the doctors say.
I will visit with IndyCar's most amazing car owner right after this.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
In Las Vegas, the white flag is coming out. 1 to go for Sam Schmidt. Sam has a huge career ahead of him as he is within a half a lap of his first victory.
A promising IndyCar driving career for Sam Schmidt abruptly came to an end in 2000 in a testing crash that left him a quadriplegic. Instead of that being the end of the story, it is just the beginning of the story of Sam Schmidt, who joins me here inside the wind tunnel. Sam, first of all, thanks so much for joining us and welcome inside the wind tunnel.
It's great to be here, finally.
I want to trace things back to when you were behind the wheel of then it was referred to as the IRL. Now we refer to it as the IndyCar series. What possessed you to pursue a career in open cockpit racing?
Well, gosh, I've been racing since I was 5 years old, and truly I wanted to follow the path of Rick Mears. Grew up in Southern California. He's from Bakersfield. He took the off-road route. I took the off-road route, and that was my dream, to drive an Indy. And of course, he got hooked up with Roger Penske and had a great outcome. But yeah, it was always, the target was always clearly Indy 500. It was unfortunate, in this industry, like any other. I mean, timing's everything. And as I was coming up through the F2000s and the open wheel ranks, there was the split in 95, 96, and that was at a crossroads for me too. Either go Atlantic and continue down that road of Champ Car, but then you wouldn't have the Indy 500, or go to the Indy Racing League for actually about the same budget and get the Indy 500. So when you're talking about racing budget and your last name's not Andretti or whatever, and you got to go find the money. I mean, we needed the Indy 500. So it's not that I thought I only wanted to race ovals in an IndyCar. That wasn't true at all. But the fact is, it's the only way to get to the Indy 500 is if you went to an all oval series, and it turned out I really liked it, and had a lot of fun, especially there with Treadway and Ari. But yeah, it's kind of like we didn't have control over that side of things.
Do you recall that day during testing at Walt Disney World? Can you take my listeners through a little bit of what happened?
Well, I think that's one of the blessings of that situation. The severity is that I don't remember a lot. I remember, the fact that we'd finished obviously fifth the year before. We had won at Vegas, but then we had the crash with Scott Sharp at Texas and broke both my feet and had recovered, fully from that. And here we were trying to inside Robbie McGee with some sponsorship, and we were still trying to find the sponsorship to run the car I was in. So I thought it was absolutely essential to get for preseason testing, to be a part of the action. And we still had our whole team together with Jeff and all the guys. And so anyway, we went down there, and, I remember my dad was with me, and yeah, just the normal process of going down a day early and prepping and do the engineering work, et cetera. And, but that honestly, people have sent me pictures that I had a hat on that had in search of a sponsorship. I had the top of the hat said "Your name here?" question mark, and things like that. So we were doing some, prior to social media, we were trying to do some promotion or to raise some interest. So all that to say, looking at everything, both from what I remember and what I've been told after, is we were a half a second quicker than we'd ever been before at Walt Disney World. And so that's actually what caused the car to bottom in turn two there. And the bit of the funky shape that had, and the angle that corner came off, it was just a weird, perfect, ugly storm where we backed it at a certain angle, and it's, and blew apart the C3, C4. Of course, that was all pre Hans device, et cetera, as well. But backing in, I don't think the Hans device would have any, positive effect towards that injury anyway. But we, unfortunately from that learned a lot about seat construction, and combined with headrest construction. And they went on to change a lot of things after that. But yeah, knocked unconscious, couldn't breathe, flew to air flighted to Orlando there, trauma center, level 1 trauma center. And again, if that is not a series sanctioned test, then the IRL safety crew is not there, the helicopter is not there, I'm probably dead.
After that fact, you successfully have divided your energies and your passions. One, I like to say, for the betterment of mankind, and two, to feed your need for speed and still be involved in the world of IndyCar racing. Let's start with that first. Unknown to a lot of folks, you kind of danced around it with the, first with the lights program and then putting your toe in the water. It's all been, Sam, a controlled growth on the racing side. Are you now where you want to be as a minority owner? You just sold majority over to McLaren, being part of McLaren SP.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I mean, you can plan and everybody should plan, 3 to 5 years out. But I don't know if motorsports it ever winds up looking like you plan it. I was perfectly content running Indy Lights. We had won 7 championships and 80 races, and had a really good, situation there. Highly respected and sought after program, and then the opportunity came up to acquire Fast Racing, which I really wasn't looking to get into IndyCar full time. We always competed at the Indy 500 as a one-off. Obviously, next to impossible to win in that situation, but we enjoyed it, and it kind of satisfied that need to run Indy. But then Fast was a unique opportunity. There were several people on that team that I'd worked with before and respected. There was a pile of equipment that had 1 year left on it, and really a turnkey thing with Rob Edwards, who highly respect, and it came with the years with a sponsorship. So here's the ultimate opportunity to try an IndyCar team for a year. If we suck, we can still keep doing Indy Lights and keep doing what we're doing, or if we do well, then we can see what happens. And as luck would have it, or not have it, we won the pole for Indy that year and pole at Texas, and had some really good runs. So then all of a sudden it's like crack, and the new car comes out in 2012. So we jump in, and the rest is, kind of history. But to your point, I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to be a part of a competitive IndyCar team that has as good a chance as anybody of winning Indy 500 and winning a championship. And at the end of the day, that just takes a ton of resources. In a previous life, I could jump on a plane and be in New York for a meeting tomorrow if requested. And now, unfortunately, everything has to be plane. So it's not that easy. We have had, I think, a tremendous amount of success with the program, with Aero, Lucas Oil, and a number of our long-term sponsors. But, drivers are starting to get paid more, as they should. Everybody in the industry is making good money. So all that to say, this beast takes money, and I think Zach is kind of world renowned for being a great marketer and a partner person. So having known him as long as I had, having known he's going to be at McLaren for quite some time, McLaren itself is an iconic brand to be associated with. Their automotive division sells a lot of cars in the U.S. It just made sense. Plus, the last 2 years, we've had a partnership on the commercial side, on the technical side. Mm-hmm. And if that hadn't gone as smooth as it has, then we wouldn't have done it. But it was, call it an engagement period, call it whatever you like. But that whole integration has gone very well, combined with the fact that I really want this team to survive, long past me. And I want it to be in a financial situation to be able to compete at that top level. We have no interest whatsoever in running mid-pack or backpack ever. And, for all those parameters, it was the logical step.
I think that still spells the competitive edge from your entire life involved in racing. But you've taken that competitive edge and you tackled what has been, what most people have said, a problem that is going to take decades, if not centuries, to cure, and that is paralysis. And you have jumped in with the exact same sort of dedication that you tackled in your entire racing career.
I started a foundation with the firm belief that the end of paralysis is simply a matter of time and money. At the end of the day, we are here to cure paralysis. That's what we're here for. If we had $100 million at our foundation, I could solve this problem in 10 years.
Do you feel that that you have impacted in a positive fashion a lot that's going into research and development to cure paralysis, not just for you, Sam, but across the board, because there are hundreds of thousands that suffer the same fate as you?
Just like you mentioned with the racing, it's about setting a goal and basically doing whatever it takes to accomplish that goal. And yes, early on with the foundation and the spinal cord injury research, we were naive in the sense that, this is like anything else that, through sheer determination and perseverance, we can figure this out. The bottom line is everybody's injury is different and it's a very complicated solution, but I feel very good about the money we spent over the years in the areas we spent it in. And then, Robert Wickens comes along and didn't really want one of my drivers to be, sort of the test pilot for a lot of we've been working on. But the fact is, he was told he was never going to walk again, and through everybody's combined efforts, and above all else, his hard work and perseverance, he's walking with hand crutches,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll never get back to where he'll be running a triathlon, but he's got a huge improvement of his quality of life and his independence. And I still would not have put it out of the realm of possibility that he'll be in a race car again. So he will continue to accomplish his goals. And, he's got married now. I'm sure they will have kids and all that stuff. So all that to say, that's what it's all about, set those goals and do anything possible to make it happen. We opened the Driven Neuro Recovery Center 2 years ago based on the knowledge gained, and it is having an unbelievable impact on people there. And now we're, looking to build a much larger facility, state-of-the-art human clinical trial type of format. And, like you said, that'll be my legacy. Being a race car driver won't. It has become clearly apparent the last 10 years that that's why I'm still alive. That's why I still can't move my arms, is because I can sit there in a room with a bunch of people with disabilities and say, it sucks, but you can still do great things with your life and still accomplish your goals. You just have to work hard at it. So that's a lot more important at the end of the day than, what I could have done as an IndyCar driver had I not been injured, So yeah, when I look at the big picture, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but I've got a great family and a great support system, and wouldn't be here today without Sheila. So
yeah,
and my kids have turned out pretty good. So they're going to change the world in their own way. So all of this to say, yeah, can't complain.
You promised your oldest daughter that you would dance at her wedding, and thanks to the association and the commitment from Aero Electronics over on the racing side, you actually got to do that. Tell me a little bit about the exoskeleton and how that all came to pass, that you indeed stood up and danced with your daughter.
I can't believe that project's 7 years old, but it has truly not only changed my life, but the lives of thousands, if not millions. I mean, because of its inspiration, its motivation. Started with the car, but even back then we were talking jokingly about when Savannah gets married. At that time, thought it was going to be quite a while down the road, but I came up on us pretty fast. But yeah, every challenge I have thrown at that team at Aero, they have tackled and accomplished, from going fast to Pikes Peak to my driver's license, and now the C8 Corvette, and just got back from Goodwood. I mean, I'm checking a lot more bucket list items than I ever could have by myself if I wasn't paralyzed. So yeah, Savannah, that weekend, I mean, it was 9 months of effort to create the prototype, to train, to get up in it and be able to, manipulate it. I still have to be balanced because it was such a short time frame, but they have taken on a challenge, and they're going to try and eliminate having anybody, have to hold me up. So that's sort of 2.0 is their goal. But that weekend was by far the best weekend in the last 21 years of my life. And when I think back to all the challenges and everything I've been through, it made it worthwhile for sure.
Listen, there's no question in my mind, with your dedication, your perseverance, the support of your family, of your race team, and Aero, there's still a lot of bright horizons that you're going to conquer. Do appreciate your visiting with us. Thanks, Sam.
Coming up next.
This is Bobby Gunther-Walsh with your WAEB AccuWeather Update.
AM 790 WAEB, your first source for news and information.
Monday through Friday, he's the local radio morning drive host. But on Saturday nights...
And they come on a turn number 4 this time. Fitzpatrick bouncing out for the number 1 spot right now. Gunther-Walsh on the outside of Dina Talley down the back straightaway.
We will visit with Bobby Gunther-Walsh next.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with advanced same day and get your part with same day pickup in store, same day curbside, or same day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participate in CarQuest locations. See store for details.
I'm Kyle Rickey from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. They are the foundation of American motorsports, the launching pad for racing's future. Time now for the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, driving local racing and local communities forward.
Taking the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap this week is, well, shall I say, a driver that I can readily identify with. For 37 years, he's been the morning host on News Radio WAEB, which, by the way, I have actually listened to in Allentown, Pennsylvania. But 25 years ago, he absolutely decided that he wanted to give a try at wheeling a race car at Grandview Speedway, the third of a mile high bank clay oval in Pennsylvania. Kind of similar, Bobby Gunther-Walsh, to what I decided to do at the age of 55, and that's tackle the world of sprint car racing. So I'm really pleased to have you join me here today inside my wind tunnel. I really want to know, I know what possessed me to, after at the ripe old age of 55, to tackle sprint car racing, but I wonder, were you going through some sort of midlife crisis or something?
Yeah, actually, I really was going through a crisis, and I was going through a divorce, not of my choosing, I guess, you know, as we know in life, part of your own making, though, sometimes. But anyway, going through a divorce, and I don't smoke, never did, don't drink, never did, don't do drugs, never did, and I thought, I need something to look forward to, because the other stuff was not a lot, it was excruciating, and I just for some reason got in my head that I wouldn't mind trying racing to take my mind off of things. And one day on the air, my last hour of my show, I, as a passing mention, that it probably took me, I'm about to kind of restate what I said. I said in the air, I'd love to try racing somewhere at a local track. If anybody knows of where I could get a ride or something, let me know. And it took about all that long to say it. I get off the air and I'm talking to somebody on the phone. The receptionist comes back and says, man, you've been on the phone for like a half hour. I've been trying to get through to you. I said, what's up? And she goes, there's a guy that's been on hold waiting for over a half hour. He says he's got you a ride at Grandview Speedway. I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, I don't know. And I had forgotten that I mentioned that. And I was on the phone, and that's how much I guess wasn't really meaning it seriously. The guy had me a ride, and of all places, at Grandview Speedway.
So just how scared were you when you sat in that race car for the first time and pulled out on to the banking there?
I got to be candid. I was at Grandview Speedway in the best division, modified, and I was too dumb to know I should be scared.
Huh.
I really had no clue. What I was getting into. I was nervous, but boy, it didn't take me long to get scared.
Well, in my particular case, after like maybe the first warm-up laps that I was so slow they needed a calendar, I came to realize that I was like a monkey trying to mount a football. And it took me a while to not get it figured out, but to have the light bulb go on. How about you?
Yeah, it took me a while, and some guys I still race against would say I still haven't gotten it, because, you know, that's just the way competitors are, especially if you end up getting in a tangle with them. But no, it took I'd say, the better part of a year to not even get lapped during a heat race. And then, as I used to say, I never knew how bad I was till I got to be mediocre. And then I realized how bad I was when I started, because, you know, you don't realize how bad you are when you're thinking I'm doing okay. But man, and now that, you know, I had a 14.5 lap the other, you know, in one of my heat races, just the guys are all doing 14 something. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to do that now, and I don't know, I was probably like, they were probably doing the same thing with me, timing me with a calendar. It's just, so I've gotten a lot better, but man, the curve was long and painful.
You, for a very, very long time, and as I alluded to when you joined me, in my travels, I have listened to you. But let me ask you this question. Your career has made you somewhat of a local celebrity. And I know when I first showed up, the first thing that I needed to do was not convince people, but show them through my actions that I was no different than they were. How about you?
Yeah, there was a lot of people thinking I was doing this as a stunt and, publicity stunt, radio guy. You have to earn their respect because they don't want a radio guy. They want a racer.
Mm-hmm.
And, and you got to park the radio guy at the door per se and show them you're a racer and that you really want to do well. And that it takes a while to earn their respect.
Now that you've been at it for 25 years, you mentioned that, they didn't want you to be a radio guy. They wanted you to be a racer. Do you consider yourself now a racer, Bobby?
Yeah, I consider myself a Saturday night racer. And I'm sure you're familiar with some of the names at Grandview. We have guys like Jeff Strunk, who's a 10-time track champ and has won about 80-some features at Grandview and about 200 in his lifetime. And Craig Von Doren, who just eclipsed 100 wins at Big Diamond and has about 110 at Grandview and about 300 some in his lifetime, and he's working on his 12th track championship at Grandview. And Dwayne Howard, who's got 6 or 7 track championships and about 100 feature wins, and you're racing against those guys. So am I a racer like them? No, but I'm a decent enough Saturday night racer.
No, and look, being a racer, I always learned a long time ago, you can have the very, very top, the pinnacle, whatever series that you're competing in. But it's the feeling when you get out of the car, whether you finished last, 14th, or first, where you're treated or you feel as if you're on equal footing. I think that's the true definition of being accepted as a racer. And it strikes me that the folks there at Grandview have embraced what you've done and look at you that way.
I think some of them have and some of them haven't. You always have your detractors, you know that. And it's kind of ironic because this is really the ultimate irony. They now want to talk to me about my radio show. And it's so really funny. At the time, they didn't even know some of them didn't know who I was because it was I'm in Allentown and Grandview is only like 20 minutes away or 20 miles away, but they hadn't heard of the station. Now they all, or most of them, I'd say the vast majority of them know who I am, know what I'm about, and now they want to talk about what I said on my show on a particular day, and they end up talking to me about radio, and I am often sitting there going, God, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about racing. But it's kind of funny. So it's transitioned that way. But yeah, I think when it got, as long as if you've had a decent run and you haven't caused anybody any problems that night, they respect you. Obviously you get entangles, and then those nights you're an idiot. You're the radio guy again,
Yeah. Well, that goes with the territory. You mentioned that cross-pollination, Bobby. What have been some of the interesting stories? Bobby Gunther-Walsh, race car driver, and then Monday morning, Bobby Gunther-Walsh saying, "Good morning, everybody," here on News Radio 790 WAEB, the radio host.
You mean what are the interesting stories in terms of what I've covered, or for translating it from the racetrack?
I'm talking about racers that now follow you on your show and most likely call in, and all of a sudden your radio career is intersected after 25 years with your Saturday night racing career.
Yes, it really has. We're a political show. They like the politics of my show. They like what I have to say. It's kind of really funny. And yeah, they do. I have a couple of them that call in, and others that surprise me because I'll see them at the track and they'll go, "Hey, I do a daily commentary every day." And they'll go, "Hey, that was a great commentary about whatever." And I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, "You listen to me?" And I'm like, and they go, "Yeah, every day." And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it because, we're busy. You know this, when you get to the track, after 25 years, you get to know everybody a little bit. Mm-hmm. But on a Saturday night, you're so busy around your car, you don't have a lot of time to really talk to a lot of people. So when you're walking by them as you're headed to your car in the beginning of the night, you're coming in, checking in at the the booth and signing your car in or whatever, you run into a guy here or there, and that's where you kind of get into conversations. But for the rest of the night, you're just so busy at your race car, where if you qualified or didn't. If you didn't qualify, you're really busy trying to get scrambling for the consolation or B main. If you did qualify, you're still trying to get set up for the feature, and you're so busy doing that, you don't get to talk to them. So once in a while, you do get into conversation, and it surprises you what they're interested in. And I've got to tell you, they're way more political than I ever would have imagined, and they're very passionate about their politics. And they're way more informed than I first thought when I got to the racetrack.
You said you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do drugs. Well, when you're inside that race car, you're probably enjoying the most legalized drug that has no cure, and that's the juice of actually getting out there. Can you articulate that a little bit, Bobby?
Oh my gosh, it is an incredible rush. I thank God that he gives me the opportunity to do this, that I'm in the position to do this, because it is an incredible rush. First of all, just the nerves when you first get out there, just until the green flag. I am always a little bit nervous, jittery, whatever word you want to put on it, till the green flag drops. And you're really, Grandview is intense. It's a third mile banked clay. It's 16-degree banking. We're doing 14.5 to 15-second laps. We are flying. We are booking, and you got to be up on the wheel. And you make one mistake, and you're out. You're done. But then there's the rush of just the speed, the rush of the challenge, and then if you're doing really well, there's that rush. If you win a heat race, there's the rush. In the feature, when there's 28 cars on a third-mile bank clay, there's just that incredible. You just got to be so focused. And hey, when I finish and I have a 12th place finish, I'm thrilled, because it's just, I just competed against some of the best. I really believe, by the way, I mean this about the accomplished drivers at Grandview, the Jeff Stronks, the Craig Von Durens, the Dwayne Howards, the Brett Cressleys, the Doug Manmillers. I'm really racing, I believe, against some of the best in the world. They are incredible drivers.
Bobby, we do appreciate it. I personally can identify, as I said when you joined me, with what you are doing. I'll share with you one of the biggest revelations that happened to me. It was about maybe 25 years into my broadcasting career, covering all sorts of sports, and I finally won a race. And I went to victory lane, and the announcer is babbling, and all I see is lips moving. And he could have told me that I had just been indicted for murder. And the only thing I could think of is, I really want to thank all of my sponsors. I had no clue, but the best one was when I crashed. And early on, I crashed often. But the track announcer came up to me and said, "Jack, what happened?" I have asked that question to drivers a million times. I broke out laughing, because all of a sudden, finally, I had gotten the real answer when I looked up laughing and said, if I knew what had happened, I wouldn't have been in the damn crash.
That is funny. That is so funny. Yeah, because that's the truth, man. Because sometimes I'll say to guys when I'm in an accident, "What happened? Here's all I saw."
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
You try to figure it out by watching videos or getting other people's accounts, because stuff happens so fast.
Best wishes, good luck. Give my best to everybody out there at Grandview. I do have some indirect connections with Ernie Saxton and some other folks that have been interwoven into the success of that track, and do sincerely appreciate you taking some time and enjoying our Advanced Auto Parts victory lap this week. Thanks so much, Bobby, and good luck.
Thank you, Jack. Got to get you on my radio show.
You got it. I'm all in.
Be sure to join us again next week for another trip to racing's grassroots with the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, advancing the next generation of drivers and champions. I'm Kyle Rickey from the Motor Racing Network.
He will cap the biggest year of his open wheel career with his second Chili Bowl win. Kyle Larson wins the 35th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Midget National.
Kyle Larson wins Las Vegas. Larson right down on the white line, taking the short way around. leaving Keselowski no out, and your all-star winner, Kyle Larson.
Oh my, 3 cars run at the top spot, but it's going to be Kyle Larson up front. Larson continuing his winning ways here. Kyle Larson down the back straightaway for the final time into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Donnie's shots. It's on the line right here. Who's it going to be? Kyle Larson wins the Knoxville Nationals.
Kyle Larson's won everything he's sat in this year. Dirt cars, all types of dirt cars, road courses. Never won at Watkins Glen, a couple corners away from his first career win at this racetrack.
Number 5 important for Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports, and it's going to be win number 5 on the 2021 season for the driver of the 5. Kyle Larson comes out of 7 for the final time, and Larson is going to win at the Glen.
They call him Young Money. Kyle Larson will join me next here inside the wind tunnel.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Here we go, a 5-lap dash. Kyle Larson goes top shelf down in turn 1. Grant up there as well. Pickett will try and slide high in front of Larson, who's got a full head of steam.
Larson won the Dukes Pursuit race last night. He banks it on the board. He's going to win the 3rd annual BC 39.
Oh, what a race!
Well, my next guest is undoubtedly enjoying his most successful and, by the way, broad-reaching racing season in his entire career. From dirt to pavement, the pride of Elk Grove, California, has beaten the very best, no matter what end of the United States they come from. Fans and his fellow competitors call Kyle Larson Young Money, and he's here with me inside the wind tunnel today. Kyle, thanks so much for grabbing us a little bit of time. I want to get right into the deep end. Who gave you that nickname, Young Money?
So 2011, I was racing USAC stuff, and there was an official that I think first gave me the nickname, and then the announcer that year, Blake Anderson, he started calling me that all over the PA system, and it kind of stuck from there. So yeah, it's been about 10 years now, that nickname.
Well, you've got a few more years before they have to call it middle-aged money. So, everything's good. I mentioned when I introduced you that you're enjoying what has to be considered your best season ever. Can you put a finger on what has just made everything come together, whether it's a dirt late model, dirt midget, or a cup car? Whatever you strap yourself in this season, you seem to go right to victory lane. What is it?
I don't know. I mean, I think first off, it's really good equipment that I'm racing. I get to race for some great car owners and crew chiefs. I'm in the best of the best stuff. There's obviously, everybody else has really good stuff as well, but I think, having that equipment underneath you and then racing as often as I do, I think, keeps me sharp and fresh. And, I've gotten a lot of experience these last few years of driving different things, and it all kind of feels the same eventually.
As I listen to in-car radios, or as I see you, whether it's at the quarter-mile dirt track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, or at Knoxville, or at the Chili Bowl, or at Daytona, or at Charlotte, you have this very inquisitive approach to things. Will Power, it's always over on the IndyCars side, has always said to me, he's constantly second-guessing himself. Doesn't strike me that you do that. Instead, you devote your attention to what is the littlest, tiniest thing that I can do better that will make me better. Am I onto something there?
Yeah, I think yes. Yeah, I think you always second guess yourself though as well. I feel like you never make the perfect move, or you could always do something a little bit better. So I think just honing in on the small details of, what it takes behind the wheel to, execute a race. There's short races in the dirt stuff, but you have to, execute each, inch of the racetrack perfectly. And, if you don't, you learn from it. And even if you do a good move, you can learn how to, do it a little bit easier next time. And then as far as like the NASCAR stuff, you gotta, those races are long, and you can't make any mistakes either. And you have to execute right. And your team around you has to execute. So it's all different, but, I think just gaining the experience to do the little things right really, can help get you wins.
You have certainly established yourself as one of the leaders in Cup as part of the Hendrick Motorsports team. This is your first year there. What is maybe one or two things that beforehand, before you got to Mr. H's operation, that you didn't realize were so much of the foundation of their success?
Well, I think the foundation of their success is Rick Hendrick himself. He is just a great leader, a great person. You're very, he motivates the people around him to, be great at what they do, whatever that job might be, and to go above and beyond to be better. And he actually, he cares about his people. He's got like 11,000 employees or something throughout all of his businesses, and he cares for every single person. And I think that right there is really what makes, a race team or business really succeed. When the guy at the top of the pyramid, cares about everybody, it makes everybody want to, do good for him.
How has he made you care more? Because it's pretty obvious that just as you said, as he does with all 11,000 employees, but there's a sparkle in your eye when you sit there and you get the hug or the handshake from Mr. H.
Yeah, I think just not wanting to let him down, and he's very competitive and loves winning, and he gets really excited when things are going good. And if you have a mistake or a bad call made by NASCAR, like, it fires him up and he's upset. So I love that passion, and it drives me to be passionate and want to do a good job and succeed for him, and that way we can succeed together. So yeah, he's an amazing owner, an amazing person, and I'm very fortunate to have met him and got to know him, and now race for him.
And he put a lot of faith in you.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's definitely put a lot of faith in me. There's a lot of people, Rick has put a lot of faith in me, Jeff Gordon, HendrickCars.com. There's so many people that put faith in me, but without him, it wouldn't all be possible.
All right, let's circle back to what I think actually gets your motor running. And that's not to deter from what you do on a Sunday afternoon on the Cup level, but it's these hundreds of races that you compete, whether it's Grandview Speedway or Knoxville, Iowa. What is it about Kyle Larson and running the dirt short tracks of America, whether they're midgets, sprint cars, wing sprints, or even now, you're getting pretty damn good in the dirt late models too?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I love dirt racing, and I love racing just in general. And with dirt racing, you can go run a lot of midweek shows, and there's just a lot of stuff you can hit. And I feel like the more I race, the more opportunity I have to get better at my craft, and you'll make myself the best race car driver I can possibly be. So, but honestly, it all boils down to me just having fun and loving driving a race car.
When you look around your peers, and as more and more success comes their way, and I think Tony Stewart shared this with me a while back, said you get to a point where you're no longer excited about winning. Instead, you're fearful of not winning anymore. It's a very subtle change, but is it the short tracks that keep you with the smile on your face and the true enjoyment of all of the elements of auto racing? Because it's obvious you're having a great time.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten to that point what Tony's talking about, fearful of not winning, but
I don't think you'll ever get to that point. Okay.
Yeah, I hope not, but I don't know. I mean, I think towards the tail end of your career, you could feel that way, you know, as your clock is running down, and you might never know if you win another race again. But I know I'm in the thick of my prime, and you want to take advantage of every opportunity I get.
So tell me what it meant just a couple of weeks ago to take that checkered flag and be the 2021 Knoxville National Champion.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Larson's got traffic right in front of him on the final lap. Donnie Schatz's inching closer out of turn number 2. Back straightaway for the final time.
Kyle Larson down the back straightaway for the final time. Into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Donnie Schatz. It's on the line right here. Who's it going to be? Kyle Larson wins the Knoxville Nationals.
It's a race I've always, wanted to win, and been close a couple other times. And yeah, to win it, and have, the season that I've had, and all the big races I've won in a lot of different cars has been really cool. But, that Knoxville Nationals win for sure stands out. I wish I would have gotten to celebrate it. I had qualifying just like 8 hours after I took the checkered flag there. So I didn't really get to hang out or even see my team very much. So it really feels like it didn't happen, and feels like a blur. So I guess I'll need to win it again someday, and be able to celebrate my team a little bit more, and really soak it in.
Well, you keep checking off all the boxes. So what's left on the racing box list for Kyle Larson, that events you want to check off your box?
I don't know. I mean, that's tough to say. It's really, I just want to win every race I enter. And if I do that, that means I'm checking off the big races too. So, I'd love to be able to win the Cup Series championship this year. I feel like I've got a great opportunity to do that. I think that's the one that, sticks out in my mind the easiest, not the easiest to get on, but like, the one that, I'm paying attention to the most right now that I have left this season is a championship. The World 100 in the late model. If my schedule works out, I would love to get the opportunity to run the National Open this year and try and win that. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to just win every race.
How about the Indianapolis 500? Can you ever imagine Kyle Larson being in the starting field?
Yeah, I mean, I could totally imagine it. I would, like anything else, I would want it to be, I don't want to just sign up and do it and say I did it. I want to be in a great car with a great team, put the effort in to go out there and try and win the Indy 500. So if the right opportunity was there, I would 100% do it.
Kyle, I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to accomplish all those things and check all of those boxes. There are drivers and there are racers, and you personify being a racer. I appreciate you visiting with me today here inside the wind tunnel.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Well, that yet again brings a close to the wind tunnel. Remember that the entire Wind Tunnel series can now be downloaded at your favorite download site. I appreciate you visiting. Look forward to seeing you again next week, right here on Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel.
Today's trip to the Wind Tunnel was brought to you by
Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.